tasty meal of all the boys. They all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come, and if I die here for the resistance, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of our resistance, and those who died for liberty.
From all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Don't scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Hello there. Hello there, everybody. How the devil are we all? I am sensationally well, I thank you for asking. And by sensationally well, I mean better. that counts in my world. Yes. How are you all getting on? How have you been? I hope it's been a superb time for you all. Someone has to be having a good time, surely. Somewhere. Anyway. Yes. So. I've been having a little bit of a detox, I suppose, over the last couple of days. Just staying away from social media mostly. Didn't do any streaming over the last 2 days. Just to sort of recharge the batteries a little bit. And I do feel better. And it's not that streaming is the problem, it's just I get my sleeping schedule gets fucking crazy. So I'm going to try and be a bit more regular, a little bit earlier. Not starting at fucking 10 PM and such nonsense, right? Yeah. What's the current temperature in Britain? I don't even know. If I'm entirely honest, I do not know. Thank you, Clyde Cat Studios, for 17 months on YouTube. Much love to you. God bless. I don't know what is the temperature. Temp in Perm. Apparently it is 18 degrees with a 0% chance of precipitation, which is rare, and it's expected to go up to Jesus Christ, like 20 odd degrees all next week, which is still better than the 30 odd degrees we've been getting, but it's still a little hot for my liking. Are we having a posh bird? There's no plan for that, no. What was I going to say? Yes, it was decidedly chilly this morning. I got up quite early. I was up about 6 this morning, and it was quite nippy. Not like winter cold or anything, but look, it was definitely cold. I had to put on a light jumper. First time in a long time I had to put on a jumper. Only a little light one, open fronted, not buttoned up. It's not that cold. Just to keep the cold off. It was dispensed with within a couple of hours because things decided to heat up, obviously. But yeah, it was a very odd sensation. I'd almost forgotten what cold felt like. Anyway, yeah, what temperature is it in the Alps, Vogel? It must be cooler. You're higher up. It doesn't make any sense to be colder, to be warmer. Was it jumper? No, it was not. It was absolutely not. Anyway. If you wanted to, you can follow me on all the various platforms and such. You can help me out financially as well if you wanted to, in the form of bits and subs and subscriptions and memberships and super chats and all of that shite. You can even follow me on places like, I don't know, Blue Sky, where you may notice a certain name crops up there. Oh yeah, that's right, the Zach Polanski, future Prime Minister, liked my tweet. Or my whatever the fuck they're called on Blue Sky. Blue Skip? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, there you go. I'm not calling them skeets. This is not a Lil Wayne bit. Was it a guillotine? It was not a guillotine. But it was about a guillotine, sort of. It was the me posting. Because basically all I do on Blue Sky is just post links to these streams, right? And he liked that, so I thought that was quite cool. But that's all. That's all. Is Infantino on the way out? I do hope so. Yes, FIFA have dropped their plan to sell the World Cup to private investors. Because ironically, they found a level of corruption that even the corrupt bastards who run the other governing bodies will not accept. He has plumbed the depths of corruption and degradation so far that even UEFA were like, no, this is too far. This is too far. Amazing. Amazing! Anyway. But I am rather glad that he's fucked off, so that's nice. Good stuff. You know who else can fuck off? The Prime Minister. If anyone thought that Manky McMankface, Prime Minister, was going to stop all of the authoritarian shit, no. Thankfully, the Supreme Court have decided that the case as to whether the banning of Palestine Action, the prescribed terrorist organisation, again, it is illegal to say you love Palestine Action and support them wholeheartedly. That would be a terrorist action, you say, because they're prescribed. So don't say that. I would never say I support Palestine Action. Me, Kevin Logan, I support Palestine Action. I would never say that, because that would be illegal and I'd be arrested and put in prison for 14 years. So don't say it, chat. Anyway, they were prescribed under the previous Labour government of, what's his name? I forget, the briefcase lad. Anyway, you know, the Ukrainian, the friend of Ukrainians, specific young men in Ukraine. Anyway, Palestine Action were prescribed under that guy. Just like he was under those Ukrainians, if I recall. Anyway, and the Supreme Court said the case, which initially at one of the courts, the lower courts, said that it was illegal.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Said that it was illegal, the ban on Palestine Action, and then the Court of Appeal said it wasn't illegal, or sorry, not illegal. It wasn't unlawful. And on both occasions, the losing plaintiff took it to the higher court, and now the Supreme Court have said that this can go ahead. So the case will go before the Supreme Court to decide whether it is illegal to ban largely peaceful protesters. In what, for me, is one of the most obvious open and shut cases of governmental overreach in terms of terrorist legislation. Anyway, it was at the Supreme Court, the Westminster Magistrates Court, or whatever it is that decides who goes ahead to the Supreme Court. And there was a protest outside, very peaceful protest, till the police decided to wade in and arrest 117 people. Very proportionate, Met Police. Excellent work. Excellent. Thank you for protecting me from these just ordinary motherfuckers. Just regular ass. This guy's got a flat cap on. No terrorist wears a flat cap. Look at him on the left here. He's got flat cap and glasses on and a mauve shirt. Osama bin Laden, he is not. But thank you for protecting me from this obvious menace that these people pose by sitting quietly on the steps of a courthouse chanting. Brilliant. What a fantastic use of money. Fuck the police. Anyway, also fuck Andy Burnham for continuing this bullshit. I know in theory he's not supposed to get involved in day-to-day policing, but in theory that shouldn't have mattered when it came to, like, oh, I don't know, Maccabi Tel Aviv fans. Do you remember? Government was very happy to get involved in day-to-day policing decisions there. So it's bollocks, isn't it? He could have stopped this. He has no interest or will to do so. So fuck him. Yes, it would appear it's 13:12 on the digital clock once again. The stopped clock being always correct in that particular regard. Anyway. Also, yes, I suppose I should briefly mention that Labour won the mayoralty in Manchester, or the Greater Manchester region, which was obviously set up by Andy Burnham becoming an MP, therefore having to resign as Mayor of Manchester, etc., etc. And won it pretty comfortably in the end, actually. Reform were at second place, a distant second place though. The Greens, a reasonable enough third place. The Tories, pathetic, genuinely pathetic. And the Lib Dems lost their fucking deposit. with 2.2%, which, like, honestly, well done there. Superb work. I genuinely, a piece of advice. I don't want to give Andy Burnham advice particularly, but if it stops a fascist government from taking over, I suppose it would be good. I think he'd be crazy not to call a general election right now. I think this is his best chance to ever win one. Because fundamentally, his policies aren't going to turn the country around. And he's going to try the same shit of cutting disability benefits to pay for more bombs that was unpopular before and is going to be unpopular now. Whereas for the first time in ages, Labour are ahead.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Unfortunately, the Labour Party are almost always shit, but there we go. Yes. The Reform Party, the main kind of rival to the Labour Party right now in terms of who could actually form some kind of government, is in shambles, really. They were a pathetic second place. They were expected to genuinely challenge for this seat. They got nowhere fucking near. Technically, Labour didn't get the overall majority in the first round of voting, so they went to the second vote preference thing. But the Reform Party were a distant second on both. Yeah, Gordon Brown did get in a Dinkel election. Although I'm always reticent to say that we should look at the precedent of history in this particular regard, because there are different circumstances. We'll just turn the lower box off for a second. Yeah, there are differences between then and now, although I did think Gordon Brown should have gone then, and I do think that if Burnham's sensible, he should go now. But, like, I don't think he's going to. Has Face been Nigel yet? No. But that's what I mean about Reform being so pathetically weak right now. Their leader is getting dumpstered by a bin right now. He's an irrelevance. No one cares about the fucking Clacton by-election. It's not even the sideshow he was going to try and make it. It's almost like they've learned their lesson, slightly. That the American media never learned. They rely on the oxygen of your publicity. If you keep reporting on every tiny thing they do, be it good or bad, I know you think you're doing your job by just publishing the bad stuff, their supporters don't care about the bad stuff. Donald Trump supporters know that he's a paedophile. They don't care. Nigel Farage's supporters know that he's fantastically corrupt. They don't care. Stop feeding them the oxygen of publicity. That's the only thing that keeps them alive. Stop it. And by accident, they've stumbled into a situation where they're not currently giving Nigel Farage the oxygen of publicity that he needs, even though he's desperate to try. The aforementioned future Prime Minister Zach Polanski, liker of my skeets. Oh, I just called it skeets. That's annoying. Anyway, Zach, you're clearly a fan, mate. Come on the show. Yeah, the police are not going to take any further action regarding Zach Polanski's collab post on Instagram that featured one picture of a third party wearing a shitposty t-shirt. Because they're too busy arresting people at Palestine Action protests, obviously. They're far too busy arresting, like, blind people in wheelchairs that oppose genocide to arrest a terrorist. I'm joking. Zach, I'm joking. I love you, baby. Anyway. What do you disagree with the Greens on? There's some stuff I definitely disagree with the Greens on. I think their I look, and to be fair, the things I disagree with them on are not like. I understand why they have these positions. I get where they're coming from, right? I on the internet can say fuck NATO. NATO are scum. NATO are an extension of American imperialism, and I want nothing to do with the bastards. They've got fucking military bases in my country that make my country a target of the nuclear bombs of other countries. We, in theory, have a nuclear deterrent ourselves, except of course not, because the actual rulers of NATO decide whether or when we can ever use them. So actually, we don't have a nuclear strike. What we have is America's say-so, occasionally maybe to use them. So it's a joke. We're not protected by NATO. We are a fucking cum jar for NATO. We are the horse being clopped by NATO. But obviously, because of the way the media landscape works and the fact that normies are fucking idiots, the Green Party can't come out and be as based as that. So they have to say, like, you know, we support, you know, a North American alliance, but NATO doesn't work in our interests. But we do definitely support some kind of NATO alliance, honest guys, you know, that sort of thing, right? I get that. Or like I disagree with them on some of the NIMBY stuff, right? But I get why in certain areas of the country, like in Ellie Chownes's constituency, a very rural place, that kind of NIMBY-ish shit works. It's not necessarily very honest or principled, but I get why they do it. I hate the phrase realpolitik, I really do. Partly because the person who came up with it was, you know, one of the worst mass murderers in human history. Not Stalin or Mao, no, Henry Kissinger. You know, the one who won the Peace Prize. Lol. Hello, couple of Burks. Everyone going for a couple of Burks in chat. I popped into your stream earlier. You were going through the 5 levels of fascism thing again. Which was cool, actually. You seem to have developed the theory. It's nice. Yes. Where was I? I forget. Anyway, so, having talked about how the country's kind of fucked and all the rest of it, one suggestion from the Discord that I did find very interesting was this particular number, which I thought we could take a look at, called Why Gen Z, and yes, it's pronounced Z, Americans. Why Gen Z is becoming socialist by a channel called Living Ironically in Europe. I don't really know what to expect from this channel, but we will take a gander. Not Uganda, that'd be a different thing.
A couple of decades ago, communism was deemed as the biggest evil created by mankind. Entire generations were raised to prepare against
This is a very Western view of things. And secondly, it's always been interesting to me that communism is given this sort of moniker. When actually, if you look at there really should be a Victims of Capitalism Foundation, because you wouldn't even have to lie to get to a massive number, right? Like with the Red Scare about like, oh, they're gonna, the nuclear bombs could drop any second now. There's literally only ever been one country that's ever used a nuclear bomb against people, and it was twice, and it was the same country called America. No one else, be it communist or capitalist, has ever used a nuclear bomb on anyone. They've tested it, obviously, and that's wrong, but whatever. In terms of actually dropping it on people in a war, one country's ever done that. And it's the country that told you that communism was bad.
inevitable nuclear Armageddon against the socialist scourge. But sometime between the 2010s and today, socialist stopped being a slur and became a badge of honor. Zoomers are out there quoting Hassan Piker like,
wow, he's really got Stan as the fan of Hassan Piker. Okay, cool.
the gospel, cheering for rent freezes and casually saying eat the rich like it's a catchphrase. And what's even
It is a catchphrase.
worse a self-described socialist became the mayor of the largest American metropolis. I mean, would someone think of the poor corporations and billionaires? So, what happened? How did an entire generation stop fearing one word?
Socialism.
Their parents were taught
Honestly, Mamdani's so cute. I love him.
to associate with gulags and breadlines. Well, let's get into it.
Well, I tell you why. I mean, ultimately, it comes down to one process, which happens after the end of the First... Well, actually, no. It happens during the Cold War, right? So, during the Cold War, there was a threat from the left, i.e. communism. So, in Western governments, they have to placate working-class people by giving them nice things like public health care and nationalised industries and things like this. And then, interestingly, notice how after the fall of the Berlin Wall and the fall of the Soviet Union, all of a sudden they don't need to give the people anything. So they start privatising all of those things and selling them off. And living standards decrease and wages stagnate. Capitalists have stopped caring what workers think because workers don't have an alternative. That's ultimately what it is. It's the rollback of social democratic protections. This is capitalism unfiltered by even pretending to care. Which is why Gen Z, or Gen Z, have turned to socialism. Because capitalism isn't really working for them.
To understand why Gen Z is slowly turning more left-wing, we should first understand what prevented other generations from doing so. We'll exclude Eastern Europe from this conversation because they already went through the whole communist shtick and they want nothing to do with it. And instead we'll...
That's not actually true either. There are some very well-founded communist parties that still exist in those places. Most of them are new organisations, after the previous ones were either banned or made virtually illegal or bankrupted or whatever, but there are communist parties that exist in all of those places. Some of them still do very well at elections. Not necessarily winning all the time, but doing okay.
focus on how the West viewed socialism back in the day. To them, it was the enemy, the scourge upon mankind.
Oh yes, ERB. Okay, we're having the ERB. Sorry, it is one of my favourite ones. Well, this is not it. I need to get the premium. I keep saying it, then I forget to. It's not even tightness, it's just memory. Is there going to be a second ad? I hope not. No.
Cool mustache, Wario. Try messing with the man monk, you'll be sorry. Oh, how many dictators does it take to turn an empire into a union to ruin the states? It's a disgrace what you did to your own people. Your daddy beat you like a dog and now you're evil. You're from Georgia, sweet Georgia, and history books unfold ya as a messed up motherfucker bit in the mind. You're a superpower, but it paid the price with the endless destruction of Russian lies. You're a man of steel, I spit kryptonite. Big dick, mystic, known to hypnotize. I can end you with a whisper to your eyes. Look into my eyes, you perverted witch.
That is the greatest opening line to any rap battle bit ever. Look into my eyes, you perverted witch. It's so mad. Oh god, what is this? What are you linking me to?
Look.
Oh god, okay.
See the soul of the man who made Mother Russia his bitch. You think I give a fuck about my wife? My own son got locked up in prison and I didn't save his life. You're gonna...
That's always the weird thing for me, right? And I think I've raised this before with you all. But when the West attacks Joseph Stalin for not saving his kid from jail, they really oughtn't. There are lots of things you can and should criticise Joseph Vissarionovich Dugashvili, to give him his proper name, for, but that actually isn't one of them. Though that was one of the rare acts of selflessness on his part, right? So for those who don't know, his son, whose first name I've totally forgotten, but of course was Major Zhugashvili, because that was the family name, right? So that's what he went under. But obviously the Germans knew that he was Stalin's kid. So he was taken outside of, I think, Leningrad, in one of the regular encirclements, because he refused to allow fucking retreats, the twat. Which in theory sounds like a hard thing, but ultimately just means that you get fucking surrounded all the time and get captured rather than saving your forces. Regardless, right. So he gets captured, he gets taken to Germany, he's put up in like a high value prisoner encampment. It's slightly better than regular Yakov, that was it, Yakov Zhugashvili, thank you. I could have just googled it, doesn't matter. Anyway, he gets taken, he gets variously tortured and or offered inducements to denounce Stalin, denounce communism, denounce Russia, and go over to the German side and blah blah blah. And he never does, right? And even to the point where once they realise they're not going to get anything out of him, they've tried every fucking possible technique, they can't get anything out of him. He's not going to play ball with them. They decide to offer him to the Russians in exchange for some of their high value prisoners they have, like generals and family members of high-ranking Nazis, etc. And Stalin, quite rightly, and this isn't something he announced or anything, he never made anything public about this, but we know from people around him, people who didn't fucking like him, who came out and said afterwards that the reason he said, I can't do this, and that he wouldn't save his son's life, is because, well, how do I look into the eyes of anybody else, the millions of other people whose kids are in fucking detention, and say, well, I saved my kid, I can't save yours? Like, it was literally a selfless thing. He refused to give his own son preferential treatment over the millions of other Soviet prisoners of war. Which is a beautifully selfless act. It's a wonderful thing he did. One of the very few genuinely positive things you can ever say about him that he did during his entire fucking life, basically. He was a monster, but this was a really good thing he did. And yet he gets criticised because he didn't give his own son preferential treatment. Why should he do that? Anyway, to finish the story, Yakov Zhugashvili essentially committed suicide via camp guard. He realised they weren't going to stop torturing him and all the rest of it, so he decided to end it by rushing at the gates, rushing at the fence, knowing he'd be gunned down by the what do you call it, the machine gunnist nest that protected the gates. And Stalin said of his son that was the act that he was most proud of his son's life. The fact that he didn't betray Russia and that he made the ultimate sacrifice in order to protect it. And that's a beautiful thing as well. Anyway, that's the story there, regardless. Are we tankies now? We're not tankies now. But fair's fair. When someone does a good thing, it's worth pointing out, I think.
When they pickle that goose cock, I'd leave your neck in a noose to the trench and shot. Your whole family, shot. All your wizard friends, shot. Anyone who sold you pierogi, shot. Starve you for days so you waste away. I even crushed motherfuckers when I'm laying in state. Kind of let it took Trotsky out of the picture. Dropped the hammer on you harder than I bitch slapped Hitler. I have no pride for you who ruined everything my revolution was doing to stop the bourgeoisie. I fought the bondage of classes, the proletariat masses that brought me here to spit a thesis against both of your asses. Let me start with you there, Frankenstein. Looking like something out of R.L. Stein. It's hip-hop chowder, red of a wine. This is odds, why I can't do shit tonight. Joseph, you were supposed to be my right-hand man, but your loyalty shriveled up like your right-hand man. My whole future was bright. You let your heart grow.
I will get to your super chat after we've done the rap song, if that's okay.
Dark and stop the greatest revolution since the birth of Marx.
Did somebody say birthmarks?
Did somebody say birthmarks? Yo, I'm the host with the most class notes. Assholes made a mess and the war got cold. Shook hands with both Ronalds, Reagan and McDonald's. No.
I shook hands with both Ronalds, Reagan and McDonald's. Come on now, that's a bar. That's a bar. Almost makes up for the Pizza Hut advert.
Now out. If your name ends with in, time to get out. I have the balls to let Baryshnikov dance, player. Go down that wall like the Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah. You two need yoga. You need a shower. And you all need to learn how to handle real power. Did somebody say real power? Da, you want to mess with me? I spit hard bars when I'm crushing these beats. Blow it up like a tuba while I'm balling in Cuba. Doing judo moves and schooling every communist suka. I'm a president, my prime. My enemies don't distract me. The last man who attacked me left the half lights and contract come at me. You don't know what you're doing when you try to bust around because I'm on like pudding. You find that the XKGB is the best MC in the FCCCP.
Okay, that's a bar as well, to be fair. To be fair, all of them had bars. That was solid Russian bars. Although technically one of them's Georgian and one of them's Ukrainian, but... Actually, hang on, are they Ukrainian? No, I'm thinking of someone else. No, there was 4 Russians and a Georgian. Anyway. Anyway, that's what inspired this whole bit, was just that one. Look, he just wanted a picture of Stalin, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, thank you for the super chat, Layla, who says, Kev, you were in my dream last night. Well, that means seek immediate medical attention for that. It was your birthday again, so have some birthday money. You were fully dressed. Have a lovely day. Okay, time out. When I imagined myself in your dream, I was fully dressed. Now you've said you were fully dressed, I'm not so sure. We've been through this before, but like if someone introduces themselves and says, hello, I'm Layla Spellwind, I'm not a murderer. Whoa. What are you telling me that for? What? Like, I assumed you weren't a murderer. Now you have said that, I now think you've definitely killed people. Do you know what I mean? So I definitely had at least one testicle out in your dream, obviously. Khrushchev was Ukrainian, that's who I was mixing him up with. Anyway. Chenenko as well, possibly? Sounds Ukrainian. Not as if he would have made it into an epic rap battles of history. He was there like 18 months or something. Anyway.
It's natural freedom. Baby boomers grew up with the threat of literal nuclear annihilation just hanging over their heads. They were drilled with duck and cover propaganda and were taught that the USSR wanted nothing more than to bury the free world. Gen X inherited that fear secondhand, but then got their own capstone event with the fall of the Berlin Wall, and undeniable proof that capitalism won the Cold War. See, I mean, it's the end of history, the end all be all. Nothing more to do here, folks. Socialism failed, the case closed, just don't ask again, alright? Millennials might have lost on the whole USSR thing, but instead they got something way better. 9/11, which signaled an even greater societal polarization. An entire generation based on team sports mentality, where any critique of Western capitalism got lumped in with just being unpatriotic. Or worse yet, sympathizing with terrorists.
Either you are with us, or you are with the terrorists.
Or a secret third thing.
And this wasn't just an American phenomenon either. Western Europe had its own version of this. NATO countries drilling in the Soviet boogeyman into their curriculum.
Hey, hello there, Katie. Everyone go and follow Katie Marshall immediately.
While post 9/11 Europe dealt with its own wave of nationalism and war on terror paranoia. But Gen Z? Well, we got neither. No Iron Curtain, no towers falling.
Honestly, the 6-7 thing is the dumbest meme that's ever existed. I don't get it. It's a no from the Kev.
Only La Boo-Boos and Fortnite event.
But before that, a quick word about today's sponsor.
No, you fucking don't, bitch. Absolutely not.
At the start, you get to pick a shelter.
What?
Once chosen, there is no
What?
going back. It will be your only home.
What in the AI bullshit is this? Get off my face.
Oh, that's so fucking gay. Damn! I'm Ray William Johnson and I approve this message.
Doing your mom, doing your mom.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. Honestly, I'm getting nostalgia freakouts here. I bet I know the words to that song. Doing your mom, doing your mom. Oh, okay, we're gonna have to try it. Sorry, chat. Hang on, I need the music for it. Hang on. Doing your mom. Was it from 2007? 17 years ago.
Doing your mom. 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 You know we straight with doing your mom.
Doing your mom.
Doing your mom. Doing your mom. Doing your mom. Doing your mom. Doing your mom. You know we straight with doing your mom. 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 You know we straight with doing your mom.
Doing your mom. Yes, yours. In the Walmart picking at your drawers. I do remember the words. Oh no! Fucking kill me! Oh Jesus Christ! Why? Why is my brain like this? If I had a fucking doctor's appointment tomorrow, I would forget. And yet the words to a 17-year-old internet joke shit song, I remember. Oh. Fucking kill me. Kill me sideways. Oh, I don't want to listen to it anymore. I'm just fucking depressed now.
There were some terror attacks, but there was no defining moment where socialism was embodied in this enemy we have to fear and fight. To us, the USSR is a black and white history lesson, and 9/11, a funny punchline. Okay, that's great and all, but how does that explain the sudden rapid rise of leftism amongst the kids? Well, here's where it all gets interesting. Instead of inherited fear, we got 2008. We got austerity. We got people going homeless while banks got bailed out. Our enlightened individualist.
There you go. Okay, so he's onto something here. He was doing like the Westoid fucking brain shit about, oh, it's Red Scare propaganda, as if that was it. But literally, the whole point is, yeah, economically, the young have been absolutely fucked. And they're not going to put up with it anymore. Some have gone to fascism, many have gone to socialism.
Way of life and fiscal policy that beat the collectivist Satan was suddenly failing to deliver its promises. You know what else we got? COVID. You could say that the pandemic was our own capstone crisis. The same way 9/11 and the Cold War defined the generations before us. We watched governments suddenly discover they could suspend rent, halt evictions, and print trillions of dollars overnight. But that doesn't matter because we were promised a society where if you work hard enough, you'll be able to sit in a private plane and eat caviar to your heart's content. But then came the hangover. Inflation ate whatever savings people scraped together, landlords jacked up rent, the second restrictions were lifted, wages just stagnated and, well, continued to do so. Meanwhile, the same billionaires who gave us hope during lockdown saw their net worth balloon up into the stratosphere. And no matter how
To be fair, I don't think any of the people he showed there are billionaires, but okay.
hard you worked or how
To be fair, that Imagine thing they did during COVID was cringe. So
big your workload got, instead of us being in that private plane, it was instead filled with alleged human traffickers that are now in Britain and tweeting. But it's not like Europe was doing any better. Like, let's be real, it's Europe we're talking about. The UK has its own cost of living crisis headlines on rotation. Germany is dealing with its energy crisis and housing shortage. And I don't even want to talk about Southern Europe's unemployment numbers, you know. Whether in Berlin, Barcelona, or Boston, the math just doesn't math up anymore. You know, degrees are depreciating and don't even guarantee jobs anymore. Jobs don't guarantee affordable rent, and rent doesn't guarantee anything resembling life your parents had at your age. So like, fucking just spend it on matcha and Labubus. fuck it. And when such economic burdens become too much to carry, socialist ideas begin to thrive.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly it. This is actually a really good, simple piece of analysis. Yeah. I was expecting him to be way shitter than this, but this is actually quite good. Simplistic, but it's very good.
But that's not the whole picture. Sure, when times are tough, some people become radicalized. But scream your frustrations into the void, and the void doesn't scream back. Bye!
Dive into summer in Pokemon Pokopia. Discover.
I apologise for that outbreak of nerd shit. Who is this guy, by the way? They're called Living Ironically in Europe. I don't really know anything about them, but that's their name.
But scream your frustrations online, and suddenly you have a following and your ideas spread. Welcome to BreadTube, the left's answer to the alt-right pipeline. Contrary to what the name suggests, this isn't a community debating on whether or not banana bread is better than garlic. Rather, it's a loose network of leftist YouTubers and video essayists, named after the book of Russian anarchist Pyotr Kropotkin, The Conquest of Bread. In it, Kropotkin lists out some of the flaws of both capitalism and feudalism. And modern breadtubers honor him and his legacy by tackling modern systemic problems of today, sprinkling some Marxist talking points here and there, and packaging it into content that's actually watchable and engaging.
Not true, not true. Mine has never been watchable or engaging. So, you've overgeneralized there.
Trying to read Marx in this economy? Buddy, the best I can do is a 20-minute video in the background. Long-format video essays about your favorite movies, leftist messaging. Meme-heavy edits with an ironic, endearing, theater kid-like energy. Hour-long Twitch streams where Hassan reacts to Fox News with the energy of a sports commentator? Fuck me, Hassan. You know, these content formulas were very effective at garnering large audiences who were frustrated.
BreadTube was milquetoast as fuck, and never, like, it had the same problem actually that the atheist community did to a degree, in that essentially you were uniting around things you didn't believe rather than things you actually did. So, like, it was opposing right-wing ideas rather than what do we actually stand for. So you ended up with really weird people like fucking Natalie Wynn, who's like a, oh god, I don't even know what she is anymore. She was on my channel. She was on this channel. If you're on YouTube, she was on this channel. We did a stream together. She was very nice. But the point being that, and by the way, if you go back and watch one of the episodes of the Descent of Manosphere, I refer to her as he because at that time that was the pronoun that was being used. So don't accuse me of misgendering. It was time appropriate. Anyway, that person is now like a weird pseudo-Zionist or something. I don't even know what the fuck they are. Yeah, ContraPoints is grim. And was like happy to break bread with Hillary fucking Clinton. Benghazi fucking super predator Clinton. Yeah.
With the state of the world, and we're looking for alternatives to the alt-right meta. You know, I mean, there's like just so many debates you can do with college students whilst calling them snowflakes. You know, it kind of gets old after 5, 6, or 6, 7 of them. The jokes has been dead like for a while. I don't even know why I'm still doing it. I feel like such a boomer saying like, haha, 6, 7. You kids like 6, 7? Haha, I'm funny. Hassan, 6, 7, chair. But there's a sneakier reason it worked too. BreadTubers figured out how to game the same exact system that built the alt-right pipeline in the first place. Same titles, same tags, same keywords, same packaging. It's basically all the same as your average right-wing rage bait video, just left. I mean, just take a look at Paul Joseph Watson. Video after video, he makes...
Oh, he goes by something else now. He's called something like the... I don't know, like Awakening or something like that. He's repackaged himself as something completely, like, different. But it's the same basic videos, the same racist conspiracy shite. I forget. Anyway, but yeah, he's still around, unfortunately.
Makes the same content that propagates outrage.
An OnlyFans girl wasn't happy when she was told that getting her bits out on camera was severely damaging her future chances of finding a husband.
Makes infantile jokes.
Grocery store because of the people that live in the camp.
Oh, I don't know. They look perfectly charming and friendly to me. You're all refugees.
Acts smug and blames the immigrants or liberals for all the world's woes. And then take a look at Hassan. Same rage bait, clickbait thumbnails, same inflammatory statements.
America deserved 9/11, dude.
Narcissistic arrogance.
The Persian diaspora, the Iranian diaspora, has that same, like, Zionist attitude.
But instead of blaming the migrants...
Jesus Christ. Wow. Yeah, he does say some dumb shit sometimes. I like Hassan, but, like... He do be saying some crazy shit.
He blames the Zionists and capitalists. So the same lonely, terminally online 17-year-old fanboy who normally get a straight diet of Ben Shapiro debating SJWs suddenly finds a leftist streamer sitting at the exact same fork in the road, dressed in the same internet-native packaging he already trusts. You know, it almost reminds me of a certain shape. I just can't put my finger on it.
Yes, you are an idiot.
Instead of handing a 20-year-old Das Kapital and telling them good luck, BreadTube instead handed them a 40-minute video with jokes, societal critique, production value, and a personality that feels more like a funny older cousin rather than...
Because you have to do that. Because if you did just hand a fucking 15-year-old a copy of Capital, if you tried to read Capital, it's one of the most dense fucking... Frankly, I'll be honest with you, chat, boring. Fucking boring books ever. It's phenomenally important. Its impact on the world is second to maybe only the Bible or the Quran or some shit like that, right? But it's about economics and it's like crazy dense. 15-year-olds aren't going to watch that. Or read that. What they will do is watch Hassan, who's a, you know, conventionally attractive, confident American chap, talk about, like, you know, how Lindsey Graham's a piece of shit. And it has sort of the same thing. It has the same potential effect of not even radicalisation, but just sort of drawing one to the proper side of things, if you will. Maybe this is the thing, right? Pre the internet, pre the television, and indeed even pre-radio, you had to write books. And by the way, I'm not anti-book. I read books constantly. I am an annoyingly well-read person in many respects. But books aren't the be-all and end-all now in the way that they used to be. They just aren't. You have to draw people in. No one's going to start at Karl Marx. No one's going to start at Kropotkin. No one's going to start at any of those old cunts. You need to draw them in with a funny meme or some shit. That's how it works in the modern world. I am a nerd, to be fair.
Than a typical professor. You know, that also kind of reminds me of someone, but I just can't put my finger on it.
Who is that?
Yeah, 1 second you're watching someone poke fun at Friends' many, and I mean many, plot holes. The next second you're binging Second Thoughts rants on capitalist propaganda. It's a slippery slope. Whether or not you think that's genuine political engagement or just parasocial brain rot with a red flag pin in it, the effect is undeniable. An entire generation absorbed their politics through streams and video essays.
You can't both sides it then, I think. If your description of the effect is correct, and I think it is, that a large number of people who've been drawn to a more progressive side, then it can't just be parasocial brain rot. There has to be an actual political messaging that is getting through to people, which makes it effective and good messaging. Propaganda, if you will. People are being affected in the way that was intended by the original creator. So both siding about, oh well, maybe it was this thing, but no, it wasn't. It clearly had the effect that was intended for a lot of people.
Instead of books and party meetings. And when many people feel unheard and forgotten...
And honestly, the party meeting thing is the perfect sort of segue for me, right? I once attended a meeting. I went to see, I wish I had my throbbing sound emote for this. I went to see George Galloway speak. Not just because George Galloway was speaking, it was like an anti-war meeting, right? It was in Birmingham. It was, for those who know, it was used to be an old big school by the big island, by the Blues Ground. Not the main big island. If you go up the hill, the island there, and it's now a mosque. Anyway, and I went to see George Galloway. This was like 20... How many years ago was this? 20 odd years ago now. I was only young. I was about 16, 17. I went to see George Galloway speak. It was anti-Iraq war thing. Was that the same meeting? No, it was a different meeting. I went to a different meeting on the same day that John Charles de Menezes was murdered. Because everyone was like, did you hear that thing in London? I was like, no. What happened there? Anyway, so yeah, that meeting could be dated, I suppose, but whatever. This was, I think, slightly before, though. Anyway, I'm fucking rambling. Right, went to see him speak. There was loads of, great speakers there. Anyway, I bumped into an old friend of my father's from the trade unions, right? I didn't know he was like a Trotskyist guy. Anyway, he invited me to, we went for a drink afterwards, him and a few other people. And he invited me to this meeting, gave me a leaflet and that. And I went, oh yeah, I'll go along to that. And I'll be honest with you, this could have been a turning point for the Kev. For the young Kev, this could have been a turning point. Because I could understand it being a tremendously blackpilling experience for like a normal person. I went to this, and he was like, I just had a house, right? And honestly, it was one of the most boring, stuffy, shit experiences ever. Not bad experience in the sense, like nothing traumatic happened, but I watched a man, and I didn't want to be rude and just leave, but I was so bored I was tempted to be rude about it. Anyway, I saw a man give an hour-long lecture to a group of 6 people, one of which was me, about Trotsky's view on fascism. And it was one of the driest, most tedious experiences I've literally, it was the opposite of a wet vagina. It was the driest thing that's ever happened. It was like Ben Shapiro's wife level of dry. And I genuinely could have blackpilled me and gone, if this is the left, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. This is why the left can achieve nothing. And you, thankfully, I was inquisitive enough to look into it and go, oh no, that's Trotskyists. Trotskyists do that. That's why they achieve nothing. Because they're happy to sit around and sniff each other's farts about the fucking views of a man who's been dead 100 years, or 80 years, or at that point I suppose 60 years, whatever. A view of fashion, like, it was so pointless, the entire endeavour. And 2 of them were smoking pipes. Oh. It's so embarrassing, some of these people. That is like the least effective way of organising fucking anything. Anyway.
In this world. Naturally.
So yeah, doing a 40-minute fucking YouTube video about how the Sherlock series is bad or something is probably more effective, is what I'm saying.
They tend to gravitate to a person who they perceive as telling it as it is. And with unlimited access to information just through your fingertips, socialist ideas are able to spread faster than ever. The printing press has jack shit on Twitter, you know? Ultimately, young people are turning socialist because of genuine concern about the...
I went on to buy a pipe and pretend to smoke a pipe. Yes. This was, well, it would have been about 3 years after that. I did get a blazer with leather patches on the arms and pretend to smoke a pipe. Because it was kind of the fashionable thing for a leftist to do at that point. Because it made you seem a bit like Tony Benn, who was sort of like seen as a badass on the left. And obviously, what you always do is have like a Tony Benn book with the title poking out of the pocket, facing the whole people so they can see. I was a pretentious cunt looking to get pussy, and you know the really annoying thing is that it worked. Looking back, right? I have to tip my hat to the young man, but also that shouldn't work. It shouldn't work. Why was anyone attracted to that? I don't know. I hope young leftist women are not attracted to that anymore. But I don't know what women are attracted to anymore, especially young ones, because I gave up caring years ago. But there we go. It worked. I was a pretentious twat. Absolutely, yes. But you know what? I was into 3 things. Studying, pussy, and being a pretentious twat. And playing snooker. Those were basically the 4 things I did. Sometimes at the same time. Mouse suits are the new pipes. If anyone's wearing a fucking mouse suit, put them in a camp. It's what they like, isn't it?
Ruling liberal capitalist system they live in. And these concerns are exacerbated by catchy left-wing content from social media and BreadTubers, whilst also lacking usual pushback the previous generations received.
Oh, no. Look, it wasn't despite that. Trust me, right? Trust me. It was like a thing. Because I wasn't the only bloke doing this. It was not necessarily a saturated market as such, but there were other men, young leftist pretentious pricks with the same sort of look, going for the same aesthetic, being the same pretentious wanker, and I think they got laid too. There was something about leftist student ladies that liked that look at the time. Like I say, it kind of made you seem like a suave old school leftist, like fucking, like, you know, something from the 60s. There was like, it was a cool thing at the time. I don't know why. Anyway. I mean, I was a leftist, and I did read Tony Benn's work, but I also made sure that everyone else knew I read it, and I was cool. Jesus Christ. I did play a lot of snooker as well. You forget how hot you were as a young man. I was hot. I wish I'd fucking known at the time. I probably wouldn't have had to go with the fucking tweed suit look. I'd have just gone, look, I've got cheekbones. You can see my ribs and everything, look. I have functioning bowels. Actually, I still have functioning bowels. I just have the shit sometimes. I have a signed Tony Benn book. Well, I do hope it gets you pussy. I can only assume it does.
During the Cold War or post 9/11, right? Well, kinda, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. At the end of the day, most Gen Z socialists have, well, not read Das Kapital or Kropotkin or anything past the first chapter of, I don't know, whatever leftist book they're supposedly reading. And the term socialist can mean many things depending on which uncle you ask. For a huge chunk of this population, socialism isn't the detailed blueprint of seizing the means of production as it used to be. It's more of a vibe.
To be fair, it was never that. Like, this is such sort of recency bias nonsense that we imagine the past as some, like, these things were absolutely defined. They were not. Words have changed to the point where what we now call social democracy is like kind of soft leftism, you know, government spending on things, nationalisation, that sort of thing. But the original Communist Party in Russia were literally founded, by the way, ironically, in London, of course. The building is still there. It was a crazy meeting that happened in like 1896 or something. It was attended by like Stalin and fucking Trotsky and Lenin and all these people. And they were founded as the Russian Social Democratic Party. Because that's what that meant. Words have changed. These concepts have changed. It's always, to an extent, been a vibe. It's just what we count as a vibe wasn't really defined back then. You had people who you might, in a literal sense, describe as centre-left, all the way through to absolute stateless anarchists, and everything in between, who would describe themselves as a socialist, or even as a communist. It's always been the way. This isn't a modern thing. Literally, even within the Communist Party, you had right deviationists and left deviationists. It's always had interpretations.
Like it's more of a vibe. Like seize the means of production. It's anti-billionaire, pro-union, pro-UBI, tax the rich, eat the rich, slightly saute the rich before cooking the rich, all wrapped up in a neat package of $1,383 worth of glass frames package. Fuck. I don't know. But Hassan has expensive glasses, that's what I want to say. He's fucking...
Oh, he's got glasses and a house and a car. Okay, cool. I don't care.
Wearing expensive glasses. Ask 10 different Gen Zers what socialism means, and you'll get 10 different answers, ranging from full state ownership of all industry to just, well, like, you know, like what they have in Norway, but, you know, like with nicer weather, dude. The prisons are nice, you know, like you have a computer in prison, man, like fucking hell. A lot of what gets called socialism these days is just, you know, European social democracies.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? Here's a little hint for you. That's always been the fucking case. Yeah. Again, do I have to point out that it was the Social Democratic government that killed Rosa Luxemburg? Well, and both Rosa Luxemburg and those people that killed her, well, not the people that killed her because they were right-wing, but the government that sent those people and allowed them to kill her, would have both called themselves socialist. Just saying.
With a rebrand. Stuff plenty of capitalist countries already do to varying degrees of effectiveness. Just with better branding for a generation raised online. You know, everyone wants a Swedish-style social democracy, but no one talks about socialism with Bosnian characteristics. Like, y'all are just posers at this point. And we're not talking about a monolithic
I mean, no one talks about Bosnian characteristics, but I know one particular person who talks about Yugoslavian characteristics. Yeah, we Helena maxing. Get fucking no justice mugged.
United movement either. It's less of a coherent ideology and more of a shared vocabulary for frustration, borrowed whenever it's convenient. I mean, there's a reason why leftist unity is a meme. Just like go on Twitter and observe how leftists who are supposedly on the same side argue about...
Okay. The Zionist freak who's suing every leftist in the world is a leftist, according to this guy. Right. Okay.
Whether or not the sky is blue or just a slightly different shade of blue. That vagueness is exactly why it spread so fast. It's flexible enough to fit whatever specific grievance you're carrying with you, whether that's rent, healthcare, or just general doom about the future. And it's already flexible enough to cause the iconic leftist infighting as we know it. Tanky's fighting social dems on this bizarre idea of ideological purity. Social dems just rolling their eyes at the vote harder, liberal, and BreadTube itself getting called out constantly for being long on discourse and short of anything something useful for their cause. But I digress. All of this up until last year sounded like it would be confined to just comment sections and Twitch chat and would have no political impact in the near future. There's no way a socialist could ever win something important, especially in the US, right? Enter Zoran Mamdani, a self-described democratic socialist who became the mayor of New York City while running on a left-leaning agenda. He somehow turned unsexy topics like rent freezes, free buses, and city-owned grocery stores into his golden ticket. And he did so without the use of any pompous words like systemic, praxis, or means of production. Woo! Just your rent is too high and I want...
And he did denounce both Hamas and Hassan Piker because they are the same thing.
Wanna fix that. Simple, yet something that the younger generations have been asking for years. What also propelled him was his social media marketing. Mamdani's campaign felt authentic to the internet in a way that older politicians is...
Oh, thank you, Dr. Phil Decker, by the way. I missed that on Twitch. For 18 months. Holla, peeps. Indeed. Indeed, sir. Indeed. Yes, you can also help the stream out with subscriptions and super chats and memberships and carrier pigeon with a tenner wrapped around its leg. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to send it back. I don't know how carrier pigeons work. Maybe I'll just keep him. We'll become friends. We'll have a symbiotic bond and fight crime together.
Could never.
Oh, yeah. Bernie Sanders is looking out for your bottom half.
Meme literate, comfortable on TikTok, speaking in the same register as the people he was trying to reach, instead of a stiff politician looking up what the youths are up to these days. In other words, absolute film scene has. As much as people loved Bernie Sanders, he always felt like a protest candidate. The guy you vote for to send a message, not someone you'd actually expect to win the whole thing. But Mamdani is...
That's, well, you say that, but like, I still remember that story of Mamdani saying that he bumped into a guy, after, like, the day after he was elected. He was filming a bit in the streets of New York City saying like, oh, thank you for voting for me. And some guy who's like cycling by, going to work, he was just like, oh, I voted for you. I can't, and he was like, how did you do? And he said, oh, I won. I went, oh my God, this is the first time I've ever voted for somebody who won. Like, I don't think many of the people that voted for him did think he was going to fucking win. Like, yeah. For some people, he was a protest vote too. Because, like, look at the other options. You've got Rapey McRapeface and fucking Tan Line Murder Gang guy. Like, what the those are the other choices? Fucking hell. Although, I do especially love the fact that you had an Italian, a Pole, and a Ugandan running to become the leader of New York City. Because that annoys the fuck out of racists. So at least on that one front, win-win-win, right? Beautiful. Thank you, fucking late. I keep being just. It looks like it's the word lady, but it isn't. Layla Spellwind, thank you for being a member on the YouTubes. Respect the beret. I do respect the beret, which is why he should have worn it. Why does he have the tan line? Because he wears it all the time. Except in this case, he decided not to wear it. Why? Was there a rule against hats in the debate? That would be a very strange rule, I feel. An unnecessary rule. I've been through this with the Binface, right? If the people of Clapton want to elect Count Binface, why shouldn't Count Binface be allowed to sit in Parliament as Count Binface? Because they didn't elect Joe Bloggs, whatever his fucking name is. They elected Count Binface. Not the actor inside the bin. They elected the fucking bin. The bin sits in Parliament. Ridiculous. Would they ban someone from the Monster Raving Loony Party? Would they have to turn up in a fucking boring ass suit as well? Fuck this noise. I'm sure there's got to be some loophole about it being a religious garment, right? He's got to be able to pull some shit like it's religious wear. Because how do you prove that isn't the case? How do you prove he isn't a crazy cunt who invented his own religion? You can do that. The late Reverend Ian Paisley was a reverend because he made his own church. He wasn't ordained by anyone. He just went and made his own church because the other churches weren't anti-gay enough. So he just made his own and made himself a pastor. That's all you need to become a priest, right? Or a pastor or whatever. So fuck it, yeah, I'm a binist. The bin is like my burqa. You know? Why not? If the dopey cunt wants to go and sit in Parliament as the bin, well, they elected a bin. That's the way it works. The rest of them are fucking trash anyway.
Is different. He has proved that the sentiment can survive contact with an actual ballot box. It's no longer confined to BreadTube comment sections or protest signs. It's translating into won elections, actual city budgets, and actual policy. Something for the older folk to keep in mind. So, is Gen Z actually socialist or just allergic to a system that keeps failing to deliver on its own promises?
Yeah, a little from column A, a little from column B.
Probably somewhere in between. I mean, this isn't a generation that inherited marks from their parents. They inherited 2008, COVID, and a rent bill that just keeps on climbing no matter how hard they work. Whether socialism sticks as the label, or it's just a short name for capitalism but fix all the parts that are broken, one thing's for sure. The fear that used to come standard with that word is gone. And once the fear is gone, the argument actually has to be won by merit.
But what standard that previously existed? You're talking as if this is a unified standard that ever existed, and it didn't. It didn't.
But what do you think? Are you a socialist? Do you think Gen Z is becoming more left-wing than before? Let me know in the comment section down below.
That video was good in parts, also fucking terrible in parts. Whatever. This dickhead. Someone suggested this dickhead, so let's have a look, I guess. Right. Now, I'm surprised he's done anything else other than reform bait. Because literally all his channel is, like, you wouldn't imagine that his political party got rid of their leader and the Prime Minister, then there's been a change of Prime Minister, because on this channel, over the last however many weeks, literally all it is, reform, 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 it's just reform all the way down. All reform, reform councils this, reform councils that, Nigel Farage, blah, 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 blah. He's got one video. Is the DSA about to repeat the UK's biggest political cautionary tale? Question mark. Which I'm going to guess is him going to go, oh, Jeremy Corbyn, Nazi. Let's see. The bowler hat man, who doesn't seem to own a bowler hat, and therefore I don't quite get the bit. Let's take a look.
I will be the first to say that, you know, I'm a bit of a Brit bonger when it comes to it. But I will...
Could you have said it any more boomer? I'm a bit of a Brit bonger. You are a Brit, you're from Britain. That's what that means. You're not a bit of one. You just are one. Okay.
I'll tell you this now. I have been watching with great interest, the discussions that have been happening about a lot of the with the Democrats and especially a lot of the liberals in shall we say the YouTube political sphere. It's been quite interesting, and this all kicked off quite in a big way, really, after
this homunculus. That's so mean to the homunculi community. You're outrageous for comparing them.
A streamer called Destiny got kicked out, or at least was refused entry, because he wasn't really kicked out. He was refused entry into what was called the DSA, and that is the...
Hang on, they didn't want the sex pest Zionist. Really? You're telling me the group of people calling themselves Democratic Socialists didn't want a alleged sexual abuser and noted massive super uber Zionist in their organisation? Wow, that's cray. Who'd have thunk it? What next? Maybe they'll stop a skinhead with a fucking swastika tattooed in the middle of his forehead from joining. Who ironically might be to the left of Destiny. LOL. That's a joke.
Democratic Socialists of America, and it is a little gathering, shall we say, of the larger Democratic version of the party. We have this as well in the UK. There are different, parties, different factions within the Labour Party, etc. It's the same in the country.
Well, there were before Briefcase got hold of it, yeah.
Conservatives, it's the same really in all parties, but you are flying under that one, flag. However, I have been watching with great interest the discussions that Destiny has been having, Hutch has been having, Wick TV.
Oh no! Oh no! The fucking Mount Rushmore of cunts. Really? That's who you're going with? Fucking Wick. Oh my god. I would listen to the gurglings of a dog's arsehole before I would listen to what Wick had to say about something. The fuck? That's grim. What a grim selection of people to get your American news from.
I believe, again, his name is that they've been having, and I'm quite surprised yet, that none of them have decided to reach across the pond to us. Because I will say this now.
To be fair, we do tend to block Americans with sexual abuse pasts from entering the country. Not always, but, quite a lot of the time.
Out to you guys. We've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. You see, just like you are having this discussion about the DSA, a lot of us probably, back in from like 2015 till about 2019.
So the leadership of, just say Jeremy Corbyn.
We're having this similar period of discussion about a little group you may not have heard of called Momentum. And Momentum was the faction that propelled Jeremy Corbyn into
getting more votes than your guy got at the general election. Because he did that, right? He got like 500,000 more votes than your guy got, so was actually more popular. Just saying.
Being the leader of the Labour Party, they brought forward a lot of socialist policies. I will say this now, at the time, very much forward for a lot of that stuff. Again, I am still forward for a lot of socialist, good, thought out, well policies. It's in the word well thought out policies, but having seen quite.
Oh yeah, they weren't sensible enough. Clearly, yeah. What you need is sensible socialism. Yeah. Briefcase socialism.
Frankly,
he's learned nothing, has he? He's learned absolutely nothing from the prime ministership of Sir Keith Stonger, KC. He's learned nothing from the spectacular unpopularity of his exact strategy. Yeah, exactly. How many Labour councillors does Barnsley have right now? True.
Just a policy platform. It just.
You know that just looking incredulously toward the camera isn't an explanation of anything? Just pulling a smug face to the camera isn't a critique of anything. Tell us what's wrong with their policy platform.
Seems to me that a lot of those policies are well, no one's really thought it out. Someone just...
Okay, what policies exactly are those? Given that you're an expert.
Said it because they thought that sounds like a good policy, but if you were to write it down, or at least that policy down on paper, there would just be the heading and nothing else would be there.
Yeah, this person definitely watches Destiny. Yeah.
You know,
it shows.
Yeah, we're gonna abolish, you know, the prisons.
Is that actually a DSA policy? Is that an actual DSA policy, as in a thing they think they can advocate for right now? Or is it one of those things that's like a policy document that was written by this random person said prison abolition would be good at some point in the future? Like, as having long-term goals is not the same as having a policy right now, is it? And again, just looking incredulously, it doesn't explain anything. They want to ban private prisons. Oh, okay. Well, that's basically the same thing. To neoliberal dickheads, that's the same thing. Because the only thing that can exist is the private ones. The only thing that can possibly exist is private prisons, obviously. What's the point of anything existing unless it's making fucking Palantir money? Or whoever, G4S.
How does that work?
Why don't you look into it, given that you claim to be some sort of fucking knowledgeable person on this topic? Look into it. Again, just looking incredulous doesn't mean anything.
Like, as a policy, how does that work? How does that work? Then there's the ridiculous, and this sticks in my mind so much, the whole no bills. You're gonna have no bills.
What does that mean? What? Who the fuck is he talking about? No bills? Do you mean no bills as in no, like, gas bills and electric bills? Or do you mean no bills as in they're not going to pass laws? What does that mean? They're going to have no bills. Or do you mean that things will be nationalised and therefore you won't directly pay for it in the form of bills? So it'll be, you'll pay your taxes and the government will provide you with water, for instance, but you don't pay a direct water bill. It's just if you live in a house, it has access to water. Because that's just sort of nationalisation, really. Does he mean bail? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. No Bill Murray's allowed. Exactly. No one called William will ever be allowed.
How does that work? But
well, I don't know, because you didn't even explain it, so I don't even know what you mean.
Let me tell you, of course, the story, because there's been
that's it. That's the explainer of why they're bad. Two things that don't make sense, that no one is advocating for. Superb. Superb.
A lot of talk about how do you deal with these DSA people, and take it from someone, again.
Oh, no old Bill, as in no police. That also works. Yeah. Fuck it. Why not?
Who, well, again, part of momentum till I realised.
Is he talking about water companies? Genuinely, I don't know. He didn't even give us enough to explain what he meant by the supposed policy that the DSA have. And that's because he gets all of his information from fucking Destiny and Wick. He's an idiot. He doesn't know even what the policy is that he's, like, laughing about. James O'Brien, if you ordered him off Temu. True. Hey, hello, Lesbian Hot Sauce. Everyone go and follow Lesbian Hot Sauce immediately. Otherwise, I will strike down with furious vengeance upon you, and you will know I am the Lord. That's a bit from, well, it's a bit from the Bible initially, but it's also a bit from, why is that the one fucking Quentin Tarantino movie I can't remember the name of? I've got Kill Bill, I've got Reservoir Dogs, but Pulp Fiction was the name of the film I was trying to fucking think of. Jesus Christ. Django Unchained, Inglourious Bastards. It could have been any of them. God, that man's made some overrated fucking flicks, hasn't he?
You know, and then I said the heretical thing of Jeremy Corbyn was not a good leader.
Well, it's a bit from the Bible in as much as it's a bastardization of a bit that's from the Bible. Yeah, I think it's like a plastering together of two bits that supposedly God said or whatever. I don't know. Who cares? Frankly.
But the warning signs, really, for what the disaster that Jeremy Corbyn was going to bring should have been, I think, really sounded by the 2016, of course, EU referendum. I think a lot of people...
Oh, Jesus Christ. Ah, liberals are the worst human beings because they're so pathetically predictable. They're still whinging. Oh, he's the reason we lost Brexit. No, fucking Tony Blair and Gordon Brown and David Cameron are the reason we lost fucking the Brexit vote. You neoliberal twats made it impossible for people to fucking live, so they looked for anything to say fuck you to Westminster with. Brexit being the perfect opportunity. It wasn't Jeremy Corbyn. If Jeremy Corbyn had campaigned twice as hard, you'd have still fucking lost, because your message was shit. You were trying to tell people you've never had it so good. Continuity is the best option in a situation where they can't feed their fucking kids. Yeah, you're damn right the people of Sunderland told you to go fuck yourself.
Recognised at that point how bad...
And by the way, just for anyone, I voted to remain because I thought it was the best option. And, let's be honest, every single racist voted to leave. Not that every person who voted for it was a racist, I'm just saying every racist voted for it. So, yeah. But either way, the messaging from the pro-Remain camp was rancid. I perfectly well understand anyone who voted against that shit.
Jeremy Corbyn was going to be. And I think that's something that you guys currently don't have. You don't have yet your Jeremy Corbyn type figure. You have, like...
Hassan Piker.
A party machinery in the DSA, just like Momentum was a piece of party machinery in the Labour Party at the time.
Do you want to talk about Labour together and how they were a thing? Also, the claw! The claw will eat you! Sorry, I was... Yeah.
That's what propels Jeremy Corbyn to be leader, of course, of the of the Labour Party. You currently don't really have that figure yet, as far as I'm aware. Like I say, I don't really follow your politics that.
Well, you get all your news from Destiny, so you've got all of your Sex Pest approved news. You can tick that off the list, nice and easy.
Close.
Well, exactly. Lesbian hot sauce. The Lexit argument is very easy to make, right? That you can't really do proper socialist governance whilst in the EU, right? Nationalisation is very difficult in the circumstance of the free market neoliberal framework of the European Union. So there is actually a genuine leftist argument to leave the European Union, but none of those cool things were ever going to happen once we left the European Union. So it sort of falls flat. Do you know what I mean? So as much as I get that, and I get why people like what was his name? The The bald guy who was the head of the RMT. Not Bob Crow, the one after him. The other bald old white man. Mick Lynch. Fuck me. Why can I remember the one previous who's been dead for 20 or 10 years or whatever, but I couldn't remember Mick Lynch. He was still very much with us, thankfully. Anyway, I get why Mick Lynch and Eddie Dempsey and those people were making that argument. There is a genuine left argument for leaving the European Union. But it falls flat when you enter the sort of practicalities that we're never going to take advantage of any of those good things, and all you're going to get is like lowering of food standards and lowering of worker standards and things like that, you know. But yeah,
Actually, to be able to say, oh yeah, that's your Jeremy Corbyn type figure, I don't know. Maybe they're there, maybe they're not there yet, but something for you to...
Marinaka, you make a very good point. The ideal outcome would have been Corbyn and May getting together doing a soft Brexit. The problem is, do you know the person who scuppered that idea? The guy who would go on to become Prime Minister, Sir Keith. He was Labour's shadow Brexit secretary, who threatened to resign if Corbyn worked with May for a soft Brexit. Honestly, his impact on Britain being negative is so much deeper than even the already obvious bullshit.
I would say watch out for, maybe, going forward. But the cracks were really there.
Yeah, Bob Crow was awesome.
In 2017. Because obviously you'd had the referendum, and then of course we'd had the removal of David Cameron. Then along comes of course Theresa May, and bear in mind there was a lot of talk that Theresa May, again having problems trying to pass her Brexit stuff, that she should go for a general election. Why? Because Jeremy Corbyn was doing awful in the polls, like absolutely awful in the polls at that time.
Okay, you going to mention how well he did after she called the general election? Maybe?
The whole idea was that if she went for this snap general election, that she would ride this wave and deliver a Conservative majority. That was not, of course, to happen. Why? Because the election that happened in, of course, 2017 wasn't.
So the one where Jeremy Corbyn did spectacularly well. That election, yeah? That one. Okay, cool.
I
thought this was a cautionary tale about how you shouldn't do leftism, actually.
Shall we say EU election, bizarrely enough, trust me, it's a whole thing. It turned out to be about the a pensioner winter fuel allowance election.
It wasn't fuel allowance, was it? It was the quote-unquote death tax. Oh, sorry, the dementia tax, I should say. But this is... But so what? Like, yeah, people aren't that interested in Brexit. They never were. Like, it was a thing that happened, and then people were like, well, yeah, Brexit is interesting and important, but, like, also, I can't afford to heat my fucking house. Maybe the government could do anything about that, thank you very much. It's about brass tacks, motherfucker. Also, he does look like he's about to sneeze. Very much so.
It was a whole thing, trust me on that one. But what happened? Of course, May lost the Conservative majority at that time.
Or Jeremy Corbyn's policies are actually quite popular, and when he gets to actually express those policies to people, they respond well to him, and he actually did quite well in that election, reducing the Conservative majority to a minority, even with half of his party, like yourself, stabbing him in the back. That sort of thing. Do you remember? Nah, never mind.
And of course, you know, the momentum, the Corbynites, they will still insist that, you know, that was a fantastic result, but you didn't win. And
Jesus Christ, you're a copy bitch. He got more votes than your bloke did. Like, yeah, he didn't win, but the reason she called it was because she was supposed to win a massive super duper majority. And she actually got her majority wiped out, didn't she? Jesus Christ, this is hoffing deep on the copium. About something that happened nearly 10 years ago now. Leave it alone. Why do you keep picking at this scab? It's really silly.
It's always worth reminding these people that there is no prize for coming second place in politics. If you lose an election, you've...
Yes, I'm guessing you come first every time, yeah.
Lost the election. There is no second place prize for you at all. But they will still keep on to this day, clinging on to this fact that you know, Jeremy Corbyn really won the 2017.
He got more votes than your bloke did. That's worth mentioning. He was never as unpopular as your bloke. Ever.
Of course, general election. And then, of course, we roll round to the 2019 election. And this is where things really start getting, I think, really obvious, shall we say,
where he got 500,000 more votes than your bloke got. Again, just reiterating for, you know, annoyance.
Of the problems in the party, because you get a problem where Corbyn is now surrounded.
Okay, little side rant here. Strawberry cheesecake not as good as plain cheesecake. Why are you putting things on cheesecake? Cheesecake works on its own. Stop putting things on cheesecake. Why when you go into a fucking shop can you never just find cheesecake? It always has to have some shit on it. Stop putting strawberries on it. I occasionally like caramel on it. You don't have to put cream on it. You don't have to put anything on it. Cheesecake, bread base, even bread siding, fine. You don't have to put shit on cheesecake all the time. I'm more than happy to have the option for other people who like the shit on it. But what about us that don't? I'm sick of having to scrape off fucking fake ass strawberry jam from the top of my cheesecake. Disgusting.
Surrounded himself with his own yes men. They are not speaking to anyone else in...
Motherfucker! You supported Sir Keir Starmer, a man so unpopular even with his own party. He didn't speak to his own fucking backbenchers. He lost votes with over 100 majority. Because his own MPs never met him. What are you talking about? He only surrounded himself with fucking yes men. Absolute madness. The brazen cheek of it. I'm going to have a fucking aneurysm.
In the Labour Party at all. At that point, they are not speaking to any other factions, even factions that maybe would be friendly, of course, to Memento.
Oh, okay, but like, there's a difference between not speaking to a different faction and purging that faction from your party. You were worse. You just absolutely were.
And some of their policies, they were not even speaking to them. You had MPs that...
Hang on, are you suggesting that he should have spoken to people who wanted to, quote, stab him in the front? The people that did regular attempts at coups against his leadership? The ones that were unhappy when he did well? He should have been happy with that. He should have been, like, super duper on board with all of those people.
When the manifesto was announced, had not even been briefed on what was in the manifesto or talked that, like, this is how you've got to present it, this is how you've got to...
You can't go wrong with Victoria Sponge and Darjeeling. I'm sorry, did you just zap here from 1925? What? Look, don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with either of those things, but I imagine you wear a petticoat. That's all I'm saying. Do you in fact ride a penny farthing? These are the questions that people need answers for.
Talk about it. One of the infamous ones I remember specifically still to this day was, of course, the free broadband, policy. Now that, to be fair,
broadband communism, please say it right,
is a good policy. It could work if you had the detail, shall we say, to the policy.
It wasn't about the detail, you dopey cunt. The media span it as fucking broadband communism. There was nothing to do with the detail of it. They hated it because it involved government spending on anything. And we were in the age of austerity. The conservatoid brain rot had set in completely and utterly. Jesus Christ, this guy's so full of it. I can see why he gets on well with the fucking content of Des Tiny. Maybe he also is pro-genocide, who knows?
To sort out, but that's the discussion for another time. And there was a Labour MP in Sheffield. He went on the local radio and he absolutely got torn to pieces by a CEO of a local Yorkshire broadband company from the time, PlusNet. Got ripped to shreds because he had no idea how to explain or talk about this policy. And what happened, of course, in 2019, it led to one of the biggest losses of the Labour Party in history.
Where they got 500,000 more votes than your guy got. Also, given that you're supposedly a Labour loyalist, could you maybe not smile about this if you think it is so disastrous? Factionalism much?
And then after that, Corbyn was done. So too was Momentum. No one was, shall we say, willing to entertain them, shall we say, at that point.
Have you got the bowler hat on, Kev? Fuck it, I'm not on camera, so I'll just say yes. Prove me wrong, bitches. Prove me wrong.
And I think, in a way, that's what you need to sort of let happen. I know there's this hesitation to, shall we say, let them have power. That I will tell you this now. Let them have power, and they will fail. And I think the faster you give them that power, the, shall we say...
Is this liberal accelerationism? Have we found a mythical unicorn of liberal accelerationism? Well, hard times really do make extreme people, don't they? This is you're radicalising the liberals into radical liberalism. Yeah. So take all of the power, leftists. Yeah, that'll teach you. He's never got over the time when Helena wiped the floor with him. True. But when it, as he once said on my own stream, it's not an issue. It's not an issue. Turns out, chat, it was an issue. It was very much an issue. Helena talked to him. Yes, she did. I've talked to him as well. I've had him on the show. Just before the general election, he was wrong about lots of things. Yeah, it's not an issue. It's not an issue.
Say less time you might have to potentially to sort out the damage, shall we say, on that one. And yes, you might potentially lose an election cycle. That is the risk.
Oh wow, unlike recently where the Democrats have been absolutely fucking killing it. They just lost the fucking popular vote to an orange rapist. Like, I love this nonsense. Oh, don't let the left in, you'll become unelectable. The Democrats are fucking dreadful at winning elections. What are you talking about? They tried to get a corpse to run for president. The fuck are you talking about? They hold like a minuscule number of the fucking governorships. They're fucking awful. The corporate Democrats are awful at winning elections and unpopular. But apparently the left are the problem here.
Risk you will have to take. It is a risk, but I will tell you now, all those momentum types, well, where have they fled to? Well, first of all, they went to create your party, the Corbyn...
My party? What?
Vehicle. That basically turned into an absolute disaster. Those people are now in the Green Party, and they are probably looking at this moment, at the next upcoming Green Party conference, to try and pass a single-state solution to try and solve the Israeli-Palestine problem.
Okay, so you're just going to look incredulous about that. And so what exactly? Like, honestly, it's so annoying. He doesn't critique the point at all, ever. It's just state the position of the person and then look incredulously at the fucking camera. Argument 1. What?
Yeah, their conference in September is going to be fun. It's going to be fun on that one.
Yeah, that's his critique, is it? It's going to be interesting. Big brain stuff going on here.
One, but yeah, if any of those, these guys, an American, political types, you're worried about the DSA and you want to.
Oh, he's absolutely a fucking Zionist. He's a member of the Labour Party in 2026. He has to be a Zionist. How could you not be? How could you realistically be a member of the Labour Party and not be a Zionist on some level, given what they are about? Given the fact that they're still like prosecuting people for being anti-genocide, like, yeah, they're just Zionists. They're the third wing of the Zionist party here.
Talk to someone who's gone through all this before. We're here. Speak out. We will. I think there's a lot of us who would be
Big
more than
brain
happy
performance now.
to talk to you about our experiences and about how we went through a lot of our own, shall we say, DSA similar type of experiences over here in the UK. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.
Absolutely awful. Load of wank. Oh, I've checked that guy out before. Yeah, the Welsh singer guy. Yeah, he is funny, John. Thank you. Is he trying to angle for a Destiny call-in? Perhaps so. Christy and I had Destiny on, back before Destiny turned into a weirdo fashoid. For the old heads, the old frogs in the audience may remember that one. It was an interesting one. Anyway, I'm going to fuck off, I think. Yeah. So, like I say, I'll probably be back on to... Oh, is he from Yorkshire? No, well, so apologies. He's got an accent. He's got a regional accent of some variety, I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. I'll probably be on with Poshbird tomorrow, although we don't have anything planned, and I'm not sure if Laura Koonsberg's about, but whatever, we might do something. And then, starting next week, I'm actually going to get back onto doing, like, proper, like, reasonably long, sort, not early, but earlier type streams. And not having, like, 2 and 3 days off, because I can't really afford to. And I do enjoy streaming. It is always a very good distraction, even if things are going badly in my private life or whatever. So I'm gonna get back on the horse, as it were. Okay. Let's see who's going on the YouTubes. Bad Empanada is going, but I don't think so. Okay, Katie Marshall's going on YouTube, so I'll send you over there. Boom. Who is going on Twitch? Cosmopolitan.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Thank you, Antifa Vegan Boy, for becoming a member. But I am leaving now, but thank you. Yeah, go and say hello to them. I will see you all tomorrow for something. Sunday fun day, etc. It's goodbye from me. Free Palestine and that. No pass around.
I get it, but